Welcome to your Supermoon Sadhana practice. My name is Serafina Dawn, and I'm very excited to have you here to join me for some of the sacred processes and practices that allow me to connect to my heart. So a few things as we get started. You're going to receive a handout with all of the mudras and mantras that we're going to be doing here. So know that you're going to receive something. You can take notes if you like as we do this. Also, feel free if you want to lay down and receive, if you want to draw or paint or write, feel free to make this your own comfortable hour, let's say, okay? The intention for this sadhana is to give you some tools that you can use as we build up to the supermoon. So the supermoon is actually on October 17th. And I've chosen to do this practice 5 days early so that you can use these practices to charge yourself up with light as the moon gets more big and beautiful and lit in the sky. So Purna, the whole session here is themed for Purna, and Purna translates from Sanskrit as this idea of fullness or being complete. And so this comes into our heart center. When we feel centered and grounded and whole, we are giving compassion to ourselves. And then from that space, we can go and give compassion and our energy to other people. So this is why I've aligned this specific sadhana with practices that feed our heart center and bring more light on the inside through the energetic heart space. So Anahata chakra. The other element that I wanted to talk about in relationship to Purna is the goddess named Annapurna. And so Annapurna is the deity of food and nourishment. She's an incarnation of Parvati. And so to give a little bit of backstory for the non-yogis here, Parvati is an incarnation of Shakti. So Shakti is the feminine force, the creative force that gives light to the material, gives life to the material realm. And so Shakti is the feminine expression of energy, and Shiva is the masculine version of energy. And when Shiva and Shakti unite, the cosmos is born. And so Shiva represents space and consciousness, where Shakti is the material realm. In Kundalini Yoga, our Shakti, and I mentioned this in the class, our Shakti lives at the base of our spine. So our Shakti is coiled near our root chakra, our sacral chakra. And all of the Kriyas are movements, mudra being sacred gesture, pranayam being breath, yoga essentially. We're working to bring the Shakti, the Kundalini, from the lower realm to the higher realm. So we get out of the lower material realm, we bring the energy up our spinal column, and then Shiva sits at the third eye. The third eye point is represented by our pineal gland, and it's Shiva's abode in a lot of stories. And so Shiva and Shakti, we're bringing the Shakti up to meet Shiva, the cosmos is born. So coming back to Parvati, Parvati is a material incarnation of Shakti. So Shiva is always meditating, and Parvati is his wife, and she's known as the goddess of the mountain, and she's very domestic. She's really good at doing yoga. The way her and Shiva actually connect is that she bests him at his craft. So his craft being meditation and yoga. And she's like, okay, I want to get this guy's attention. So she starts becoming really good at doing yoga and meditating. And so they are the material manifestation of the two energies. So you have the two unique poles. And so in one of the stories I read, Shiva's always off meditating, and he makes a comment to Parvati about how the material realm doesn't matter. He's like, oh yeah, who needs the material realm? So she's like, okay, fine. And she leaves. She completely leaves. And when she leaves, all the things in the world stop happening. The seasons stop, no food is grown. Like, think of all the things that we interact with in the material realm through our senses. So she leaves. Everything comes to a halt and no one can figure out what's going on. So after a while, when things start getting more and more upset, she sends Annapura, which is a incarnation of herself, and Annapura being the one who provides nourishment in food. So Annapura shows up and starts giving the people food again. And then Shiva appears and goes, oh, this is wonderful. We need this. And then Parvati comes back and is like, yeah, we need the material realm. So that's like the cute story of just the interplay, because we need both, you know, we need the meditation to go up into the ether where we can imagine and envision what the other worlds look like. And then we need to manifest the vision into the material realm, the world we share. So Annapura being the one who nourishes through food and sustenance and material nourishment. And as you know, there's different ways of nourishing the self. There's the material and then the energetic. And so all of these practices that we do are ways of nourishing our inner world, our soul space. So the next thing, let's talk about the heart chakra. So the heart is the centerfold of the lower and the upper realms. So I'm going to speak to Kundalini yoga. It's similar to the traditional yoga chakras. Also, depending on what you read, there's different interpretations. So the heart is the bridge between the lower chakras being the root, sacral, and solar plexus. And these are more of the material embodiment. It's where our Kundalini tends to live. And then the upper chakras are the throat, so how we express ourselves, the third eye, as I've mentioned for Shiva, and the crown chakra, above the crown of the head. And the crown connects us to totality, to the divine, however you want to say. And then in Kundalini yoga, there's an 8th chakra called the auric field. And if you reach your hands out around you, the auric field embraces the space that you can kind of like you're in an egg kind of thing, or there's a little rainbow going around your body. If you were with me today in the class, the arm movements that we did really brought the energy into the auric field. So we move from the inner realm to the outer realm. And so the heart is the bridge that connects the lower material to the upper immaterial realms. So it's the bridge where everything meets. And anahata from Sanskrit translates as the unstruck sound. It's pure vibration. And the way I like to think of it is when I get really quiet and go within, that is the unstruck. It's the source. You're connecting to your soul space, your source sound is what I would say. And then on top of that, the realization that your heart's rhythm, everyone has a heartbeat. So this rhythm radiates from inside and connects us to all beings. That's the pure vibration. Every single chakra has a light and a shadow side. So again, we're always working with the polarity. So think about Shiva being the upper realm, Shakti being the lower realm, and there's light and shadow to everything. So within the heart space, some of the lighter aspects, some of the themes would be love, compassion, and surrender. And then some of the shadow themes that you would work with would be, grief, self-acceptance. That's one that could go either way. And I find like forgiveness, self-acceptance can sometimes be a hard facet to look at within ourselves. And grief. Grief is the biggest one for the heart, grief and sadness. And so whenever we work with the chakras, we have to look at both sides. So you can't have love and compassion without examining within yourself forgiveness, acceptance of things that you perhaps don't want to look at, and any sorrow that you're carrying. All of these elements, all of these aspects live in the heart. And so the kriyas and the mudras and the poses that we do, all of the yoga works to express these different themes, and it can be physiological or energetic. I'm focusing more on the energy and philosophy in this workshop. The sadhana practice that I'm hosting next month on mudra, I'm going to get more into the physiology of the nervous system and the endocrine system and how the mudras and mantras and postures innervate your nervous system and then work with your organs, your muscles, your glands, etc. For this one, we're staying a little bit more in the energy work. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to say about that. So stepping into the space of the heart, there's 5 precepts, and these precepts are actually from Jin Shin Jyutsu. I'm going to pause and say this here. I blend modalities within the way that I teach. As the reading that I've done and the experiences I've had and the training that I've had, there's a lot of themes that are very concerted, and they all of these different practices have the same thing. So from Taoism, Buddhism, Jainism, Hinduism, Jin Shin Jyutsu is from Japan. It's from Taoism, let's say that. A lot of the themes are very similar, and something that I love is in bringing in similar elements to express different points in the body. So from Jin Shin Jyutsu, there's 5 precepts that work with the heart. And the 5 precepts are non-judgment. So non-judgment of self and non-judgment of others, and having respect for the process that everyone is going through, and honoring that everyone's in a different developmental stage and everyone's coming from a different cultural background, socioeconomic background. Everything is so distinct for every person. The next one is no competing and no comparison. So you're not saying, oh, this person has this, or I don't have that, or having a competitive edge. And there's a positive to every single one of these. So in the sense of non-competing, you would say there's enough for everybody. The next one would be no labeling. So not having a firm definition is important, but also not having so much rigidity around the definition of things. So one of the aspects of the heart is the element for the heart is air. And if you think about air, air is always changing, moving. The wind, like if you think about the quality of air, how light it is, how you can't see it. And it's always shifting, right? As opposed to earth, where earth is fixed. The heart's element is air. So there's this non-rigidity there. And again, this I think comes into the aspects of forgiveness, surrender, softening, compassion, right? Stepping back to say, like, I don't have all the answers. You can have a completely different process from me, and I respect that. I may not agree with you, and I can respect it. And then the last one, and I struggle with this one. No asking why. You don't ask your heart why. And the reason for this is as soon as you ask why of something, you're examining it, and that starts bleeding into a judgment. And then the other side of this is the heart. You have to trust. You have to trust the unknown, the discovery process, trust your path, trust that the universe is going to provide. So instead of getting hung up on, why is this happening to me? It would be like, okay, how can I accept this? How can I take a pause, give myself what I need right now, and then just trust that the universe has me? And that can be a little bit challenging. So those are some of the aspects of the heart chakra. And the first Kriya and mantra we're going to do together is for the heart. So the mantra is Ardaas Bhaee. And again, you're going to get a handout with this with all the words. This mantra, you're asking two Sikhs to send you a prayer. So you would chant this mantra when you want your prayers to be answered. When you have, again, instead of asking why, you have a prayer, you're holding something inside of you, and then you could do this mantra to be like, this is my prayer, this is what I'm holding, and then trusting that someone is going to show you the way. The Kriya, the movement we're going to do with this mantra, I'm going to back up a little bit. So your palms are flat and they're facing up like an offering. And then you're going to start waving your arms up towards from your heart to your face, almost like I like to imagine like I'm standing under a waterfall or by a big fountain and I'm splashing water up towards myself, like a blessing almost. And in this way, you're washing yourself with the prayers, is how I like to think of it. So we're going to sit together in this mantra. There's a song that's going to go with it. It's about 11 minutes. We're going to be in it for 11 minutes together. And if you can, you're going to do the Kriya, and you can catch the words as they come and start to chant along, or simply listen to the sound and let it wash over you. And you could envision the sound washing over you as you do the Kriya with your arms. Okay. So I'm just going to find the track. Lower your palms to your thighs. You can keep your palms up as a symbol of reception. Soften your gaze and feel. Just notice the sensation in your body. Deepen your exhales to ground. Slowly open your eyes. We're going to sit together with a really simple mudra. Hridaya Mudra for the heart is to let our nervous system settle after the Kriya. So you'll bring your middle finger and your index finger to your thumb, and then curl your ring finger and your middle finger to your thumb. And then you're curling your index finger to the base of the thumb and then extending the pinky. Okay. And so you can hold your hands by your shoulders, palms are out, or place the mudra palm up on your thighs. Okay. You can also lay down and take this on your back and let your arms rest against the earth or on your pelvis. So find a comfortable seat. You can lean against a wall, whatever serves. And as you place yourself, soften your gaze. Breathe and feel. Just feel, listen inward to whatever arises. A little press between the fingertips connected to the thumb. Apply a little bit of pressure with your middle ring and thumb touching. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, release the mudra. You could place your palms down on your thighs or the earth. You could also bring your hands to clasp in your lap or on your belly if you're reclined. And take a couple breaths here to observe the effect of the mudra. Take another deep breath in. Open your mouth to exhale. Bring yourself back. You could blink your eyes open slowly. You're reclined. Take your time and make your way up to sit, or you can stay reclined, no problem. So mudra translates as sacred gesture. And the ancient rishis used mudras as a means to connect with the inner self, to ground, to meditate, to relax. And the beauty of mudras, and again, I'm going to talk about this in the next sadhana, is your nerves. There's nerves that go from your fingertips and they connect to your spine. And then it moves into the nerve ganglia that innervates your organs, your glandular system, all the wonderful things that gives your body life. And so pressing your fingertips to different parts of your body or to each other literally activates different lines of energy. And in yoga, we call these energy lines nadis. There's different names in different practices and lineages. And so just the simplicity of connecting, this is doing so much inside of yourself. And maybe you felt it sometimes with mudra work. Symbols can appear, colors, textures, sounds. So I invite you to write your experience or draw your experience. And then again, a reminder that as the moon becomes full and bright, these practices are meant to bring more light to the inside of your being. And so Kundalini, all of these practices bring more electricity through your body. So you're strengthening your nervous system so more electricity can move through you, which is light. There's so much work being done right now. Zach Bush has a great talk on mitochondria and how it literally you're creating light in your body. And this is the remedy against disease. And the alchemists, the first yogis, the rishis, the alchemists, they wanted to transform. Alchemy is transforming one material to the other. And their whole thing was transforming the dark into light within inside of ourselves, just with these practices, which is so magnificent, so simple, and yet not, So our next two mudras are actually from Jin Shin Jyutsu. Again, Jin Shin Jyutsu is a practice from Japan. Jiro Murai is the founder, and Jin Shin Jyutsu is the work of harmonizing the energy flows in the body. Energy flows, again, being the energy lines, the nadis, where your prana, your vitality is traveling. Again, different name, different lineage, no problem. And Jin Shin Jyutsu translates as creator's art through the compassionate person. It's just poetry and it's science. So two magnificent things. So these two energy locks both work with the heart space. I'm just going to take a little bit of water. So the first one, it's energy lock 15, and it's called washing the heart with laughter, which you don't even need to know anymore after the name. You do, you need to know where to put your hands. So SEL 15 is on the hip points. You're going to take your hands and place your palms over your hip points. And what's nice about this is in Kundalini, you have your root, sacral, navel chakras. So you're kind of creating like a little pad over the lower chakras, over your womb space. So I'd invite you, I'm going to tell you about this energy lock. And you can do this one laying on your back. You can also do this one sitting as I am. And so by placing your hands here, we're going to sit together or lay together for a minute and feel. I'm just going to give you a little touch point. So it's called washing the heart with laughter, and it encourages the harmony and flow around the heart and then down. So it creates the sense of stability and ease, of groundedness. And so the invitation with this lock is that if you're feeling depleted or fatigued, you can place your hands here And one thing I like doing if I've been out all day doing all the things, I'll lay in bed and place my hands here for 5 minutes and breathe deep. And I feel good afterwards. You could also do it. I've done it where if I'm out at a lunch or with people in a public space and I want to ground, you can be sitting at a table and just put your hands on your hip points like this. So we're just going to sit for 2 minutes together, feeling. Again, you can make yourself comfortable on your back. It's quite nice, reclined. Set your palms and soften your gaze. You could imagine light on each center of your palm. And imagine feeding this light from your hands into your body. You could also begin to expand your breath through your lower waist, breathing wider into your hands. Last few breaths here. The next time you exhale, slowly bring yourself back. You can open your eyes and bring your palms together and just rub your hands together to clear, creating a little bit of heat, a little bit of friction. And then press your palms down on your thighs, just to ground for a minute. Allow that to move through you, the effect of that mudra. So the next lock is energy lock 26. It's all encompassing. And so this lock lines up with the heart. And there's 2 ways to do it. I'll show you the more common way, and then the way that I prefer. So the lock is at the base of your shoulder blades on your back. And so one way to touch yourself, to take the mudra by yourself is to hug yourself, wrap your hands around yourself, and then bring your fingertips around your ribs so you can touch the base of your shoulders. You kind of got to really get in there. And then you're breathing into your back body and into the sides of your waist. So this one's really nice, as you can feel your breath moving side to side and into the back. This is way 1. Way 2, which I prefer because I like doing this one reclined. There's 2 options. So you can take your hands to your back as such, like this. So your fingertips are touching. This is kind of uncomfortable and it might work. I prefer to put my hands this way and then lay down. So my palms are flat on the ground. The back of my hands is against the back of my shoulder blades. And then I rest against the earth. And again, this is one that I like doing in the beginning of the day and the end of the day to bookend. It's really nice reclined because you can breathe more into your back and feel the inhale and exhale against your palms, against the ground. And so in the back of our lungs, we have more capillaries. So you're giving your body more fresh oxygen. So we're going to sit together or lay down in this one for about 2 minutes and breathe. So you can take the little hug variation. You could take seated with your hands on your back, or you can lay down with your hands on your back, palms in or palms out. All are great, okay, as long as you're touching the back of your shoulder blades. And then again, you can imagine taking your internal gaze to the back of your heart and start to breathe more light into the back of your heart, the chamber of the heart space. And so this lock is about the all-encompassing expression of love, abundance, compassion. And there's an ease, a sense of surrender at this point. Last couple breath here. Take a full breath in. Exhale, release your hands. Bring your palms together again. You can rub them gently, creating a little bit of heat between your palms, just rinsing that out. And then set your hands on your thighs to ground and take a couple breaths to feel. As you are, keeping your gaze soft or your eyes closed, stack one hand over your heart and the other palm on top of it and apply just enough pressure that you can feel your heart's rhythm. Take a moment to gather the light that you've created with these practices. And then hold those you love in a blessing in the light. Gather them in toward your heart and hold them in the blessing. And then bless yourself. Draw the light around yourself. May these practices allow you to hear the sonata of your soul. Thank you so much for joining me. Satnam.